This is an avocado, and this is a podcast that makes this an avocado podcast.
You are now listening to The Young God, a podcast for the gods.
The most trivial things excite me. So it's like finding joy in the little things.
Yeah.
You hear it and read it in books, but that's me. If you keep waiting for one monumental thing to come and change your life, you're going to wait for a while.
I swear.
You're going to wait for a while.
Yo.
You have to start to find the joy in the little things.
Bars, brothers and sisters. That was my guest dropping bars. She's a former on-air personality turned content creator and super mama, among other things. Ladies and gentlemen, Chika Chukwu. And I'm Rodney Omokache, the host of The Young God. Thank you for tuning in. You see, Chika is someone I've always wanted to talk to for the longest time. And finally we made time and we did it. Guys, this episode is one for the books. In this hour-long conversation, we talked about the power of personality across dating, parenting, and mental health. I already had my ideas, but it was truly enriching listening to Chika's point of view. This was our first time meeting in person, but you would never have guessed it. That's how much we vibed. It was electric, it was excellent, and she brought it. Chika, if you're listening, we gotta do it again. Her IG is at MommyMoves&Magic. Do check her out. Without further ado, let's start the show. This episode is sponsored by 8689 Food. They're a small business that makes artisanal foods and treats. Do check them out. Recording. What is this? That's not always the good stuff.
Stop it. No, I'm asking you though, like what do you know? When you see Mommy Moves and Magic, you open my page, when you walked in there the first time, what did you think?
What I see, what I think, I don't know what I thought the first time. I think that is a long time ago.
Okay.
You know, to be fair, I only followed you because of your sister,
Yeah, sure.
who I may or may not have a huge crush on.
Oh, okay.
In one of those lengthy conversations with your sister, you came up and, you know, she's super passionate about your kids, as you all know. And she would talk about how, you know, the little ways that they bring joy into her life. And then she now would talk about how you raised them. And she told me the story of how, you know, you quit your job to take care of them, to raise them, to really instill in them those values you thought were important. And I thought that was impressive. I thought that was noble as fuck. I thought, in fact, without even knowing you, I just, you know, put you there as someone that I would like to, you know, pick. In fact, that's where I was going the whole time when I was thinking of having you in the podcast, like talking about that. You know, so I came on your page and I saw, you know, everything that is Chika Chukwu. Ladies and gentlemen, yes.
Thank you, Rodney. You made me feel super special, which I am, by the way.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, I'm very particular about the people I bring around my children, even around myself, let alone my babies, okay? So, I'm that paranoid to the point that I wouldn't trust anyone to do the job that I can do for my children. So, it was everything. It was like the universe was saying, Chika, quit. You have to be there for your family. You know, like, I was like, oh, okay, let me just do this. It was difficult because I really loved my job. Radio was my baby before I had an actual baby, okay? Like, touching people's lives in that manner, Rodney, it's very powerful. It's easy to take it for granted, but when you hear people, when they call in the mornings and they're so excited, like when you go on leave, when you know that, you know, when you're out for a while and you come back, they're like, oh my God, Chika, you're back. You know, it's like, oh, you guys, I missed you too, you know. Yeah. So they miss you. You actually do play a role in their lives. Okay, people are having a bad day, and once they turn on the radio, they're hearing me being stupid on air, and it gives them a good laugh, and their day is made. So that made me super happy. And I didn't know the level of the impact till I went out one time. I wasn't about the celebrity side to being a radio host, though. I wasn't about that life. But something happened. One of my colleagues did something for some orphans in an orphanage. I was happy to show up. So when we got there, a lot of the fans of the station were there. So that was my first time of really like being in the same space as them. And they were like, oh my God, super Chika. I was like,
So that was the first time you were aware of your celebrity in the space. Okay.
Yes. And I was like, oh, what? There was like a queue of people wanting to take pictures. I was so happy to do it, but I was so shocked. Like, oh my God, are they really wanting to take pictures with me? Like, so that was the first time I really got a sense of, it was a beautiful time in my life, but at the time my baby was of course more important and I had to let that go, as painful as it was. But I kind of got used to, the whole thing of being a mommy, and now, I'm happy to like be back doing, things that are channeling that my creativity and all of that into something else. So it's a good place to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's vibes, man. I mean, you guys should go and have a pic. First of all, you know what? I think we even skipped steps.
Yes, we did.
We skipped steps. Let's take it back for a second.
Yeah, okay.
Let's paint a picture for the listeners in the house, right? So,
Cool.
we're at CF1 Cafe. We're inside a very private and enclosed space.
Mm-hmm.
Chika is sitting across from me. She's looking delightful.
You're a washer. Keep at it. Keep at it though.
I'm a laundry man.
I can see.
I'm here to, and what I'm doing is I'm washing the clean laundry, not the dirty laundry.
Oh, yay!
You
I love it. Yeah.
She's wearing these bright red earrings.
Yes.
She's wearing a white linen shirt.
Yes.
We both have like tints of red on us. I'm
Yes,
wearing a
we
red
do.
shirt and she's wearing red earrings.
Yes, we do.
It's a nice picture.
It is.
And she has a natural hair game on point. You see it. It's a lovely name.
Thank you so much, Rodney.
Guys, she's blushing, guys.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Everywhere. I'm here for it. You're welcome to the Young God.
Thank you so much.
And I'm glad you mentioned, what the impact of your voice has been for many people, because in many ways I'm experiencing that right now with my show. It's wild when you are met with the reality of what just something you do out of your free time, spare time,
Yeah.
is resonating. It's a blessing. You think you enjoy doing it until you find out how you actually feel about you doing what you do. And then from there it's like, okay, I gotta keep doing this. I gotta do it even better. Now I gotta be conscious of certain things that I say.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where I feel like you left something on the table.
I did, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you had to do what you had to do.
Yeah.
But now you're in Mommy Moves and Magic. So how did that name come about? Mommy Moves and Magic. That's our IG, by the way.
That's
Mommy
my
Moves
IG.
Magic.
Mommy Moves and Magic.
And Magic.
Yes.
Yes. So what's that about?
Oh my God. The name, it's a bit of a story, but I'll just keep it very short. I just knew there's so many facets to who I am, okay? And there are so many things that I genuinely like to do. And that's why I've never really quite resonated with that whole jack of all trades, master of none thing. Because I'm like, no, I believe that you can be good at a lot of things and very good at them. Not mediocre, not okay, average. No, you can actually be very good at more than one thing, okay? Yeah. And I'll always counter that argument that you need to focus on one thing to be able to excel. I don't think so. I think if you're good and you have the grace to balance, you can actually succeed in everything, okay? So I wanted a name that could just, capture the essence of who I am and all my different sides. For instance, I love to dress up and look good. Yes, okay.
You guys can see that.
I love to cook. I love being a mom. Okay, I enjoy being with my kids, doing activities with them and things like that. I really like that. And I love to create content, take pictures, and have a good eye for different things. So I have so many things that I'm very good at, and I'm not going to limit myself. So I wanted a name that captured everything. So I knew I had to have mommy in it. The mommy there is my motherhood side. The moves is me, chasing the bag with my whatever. And the magic is the everything else. Like, it was just a name that just, like me now. Like, I'm always vibes, okay? So that magic had to be there because I feel I'm very magical. I don't know how you want to take it, but that's just who I am, man. Like, I am.
You know what? it's good you said that, because the same way you feel you're magical, the
Yeah.
same way I feel like I'm a god.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same way I have to, like, the way it's hard to like put it in words sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not everyone will get it.
Exactly.
You know, but you know what you mean, and you know, just knowing that gives you like that's where your power comes from.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So now we've talked about all these different things. And guys, when you check out our page, all these things that she said that she is about,
Mm-hmm.
like when you scroll for at least a minute, you will get a sense of all of that. First of all,
Yep.
cooking.
Yeah.
The cooking is goals, man. What you and Onye did during the lockdown.
Oh
was,
my God.
Amazing.
That was
actually.
us in our elements, fam. We're going at it and cooking up a storm every time.
Yeah, you all need to go to hell, because what you guys were doing was a sin. Just creating thirst and salivating and just
I know.
screen-licking
We got a
content.
lot of hate for all of that. Till today, though, I go out and people are like sending me daggers like, Chika, you think you can be cooking and be posting your food and you not invite me or send something? I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't know that I was running a restaurant, so I'm so sorry.
It's about time you start running a restaurant, man. Let's
Yeah.
add mommy moves and cooking magic to
I
that.
know, I
You
know.
know?
You may be surprised. Let's
Hey.
just, maybe not a restaurant, but something that has to do with cooking, sharp, but yes.
It is well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why you're here today, one of the reasons is because we're here to talk about what goes into a personality.
Okay.
And you haven't been a radio personality, and now being an Instagram personality,
Something like that.
something like that, right? You know, I feel like personality sells. Like, personality sells everything. If you have a personality that attracts people, if you have a personality that's well developed, that is intentionally curated,
Yeah.
you know, that is true to whatever it is you're about, I feel like that can make make your way in the world. What do you think makes a person irresistible?
I think it's a bunch of different things, first of all. But if I had to say one thing, it would be just having good vibes. Okay? I think that's one thing that I've seen.
What does good vibes mean to you?
Good vibes is like just having that, like when people are around you, they're happy. They don't even have to be around you. When somebody just sees you in a video, in a picture, a smile actually crosses their face. Do you understand? And it's something that not everyone, I think, is blessed with, but some people are, and it's a beautiful thing to have. And the good thing is that it's something that can actually be learned. Do you know that? Like, you can, if you're intentional about having good vibes, you will have good vibes, okay? I'll use myself as an example. Maybe lucky or blessed to just have it. I didn't have to learn it or try to like, okay, now I have to try to be good or no. I'm that person that if there's something, if anybody spoke to me about my purpose, I think it would be something that is at the core of my being. I love to make people happy. Not in the people pleaser sense.
Yeah.
But in the sense that I'm happy when people are happy. Not to displease myself, but if I can do something to make you a little happier than you are, I will. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Did you want to say something, Rodney?
Oh, when you're done, I think
Don't
you had
forget that train of thought.
I will not forget.
Okay. So, yes. So I like it when, I'll give you an instance. When I worked at Cool FM, even back when I was in uni or in secondary school, I always have like a huge smile on my face every time. And I don't go out, I don't wake up and say, today I'm going to be smiling and smiling. No, I just smile when I say hi. I just came from somewhere, and by the time I was leaving, all the waiters were like a family member was traveling. No, bye, thank you. Because I just walk into a space and I'm just smiling. It doesn't take me anything. I greet you like I've known you for a bit. So they're always shocked at the way I say hello. I'm like, hello, I would ask how you are. And they're always taken aback because I guess they don't get that all the time.
Yeah.
So when I walk into a place, I'm smiley, I'm chatty, I pay attention, okay? I notice when something is wrong. I'll ask you a question. I'm not trying to take you off guard, but I just genuinely care about how you're feeling in the moment. So I'm that person. So I'll do that for you. And so when I'm not around, my absence is felt. Okay? I'll give you, as I say this because after I left the radio, I didn't even know this, but my sister, you know her, she went back to the station to see someone. And on her way out, somebody introduced her to the guys at the gates, the security men, some old men that were my guys, you know. So they introduced her as my sister. And one of them, he was, like his eyes were he was almost crying when he was talking to my sister about me. Saying, oh my God, that till tomorrow he would always miss me, that I made them feel so loved. And I looked out for them and I would gist with them and ask about their families, and no matter how busy I was I'm passing the gate, I must stop my car, put the window down, chit chat for a bit before, So just that whole thing. And he never forgot. This is how many years later. He didn't forget. He asked for my number and took my new number because I had to change my line. So he called and he was so excited over the phone. And he's not even like a single example. There's so many other people that I know that have this same story about me. And that's because I feel it's, thinking back to why I may think they feel that way, I'm just telling you now, I smile a lot at them and I engage them and really try to talk to them, make them feel seen. Make them feel seen and show like genuine care. So I think that's one thing that makes people irresistible. You can't make somebody feel good and they won't remember you. It's the same thing that Maya Angelou said, okay? People will always remember. They won't remember what you said or how you made them feel. So if you feel good, you make people feel good, I think that's like the most irresistible thing.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to something you said that I was going to say, right?
Yeah, please.
The first thing was when you talked about when you like to make people happy. And you try to make that distinction that you're not trying to please people. But you just like to make people feel welcome and feel, respected. And I think those things go a long way. Especially because people can go the entire day feeling disrespected by all kinds of things in this country, in this city. So if somebody just takes that little effort to, make them feel like they matter, you have entered their good books for no reason. And it's something I tend to apply even with, for example, when the police stop me, that's a very good time to apply these things.
That thing works like magic.
Because what people tend to do is they respond with the same energy they're given. But I try to, diffuse the situation.
Oh my God.
And they're so taken aback because they expect you to come gidigbo,
Rodney, we need to do a masterclass on how to handle this for people. You see all this PIO, smile, guys, calm all the way down. They never expect it. They always want you. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Some days I'm not in the flipping mood. I'm running late to pick up my kids. I've had a really rough day, and you stop me. I'm like, kilo day, what is this? Jeremiah. But most of the time, Rodney, smile. Smile. And what I do, I take a quick peek at their name badge. Like, I'll just take a quick peek and I'm like, Mr. Yusuf, how far now? They forget that they're wearing their badge. They think you know them from somewhere. They're like, auntie, now you? Now me. You don't know me, but it's fine, So they always forget they're wearing their name tag. So once you say, Moga Yusuf now, wow, how far now? They like you said, they're shocked because that's not the normal reaction. And it works like magic, guys. Take notes. No belligerent behavior with all these people. You will stay there. It will make you park your car. But once you're smiley and you're chit-chatting, they don't expect that, kind of treatment.
That is, I think that is something we can all take and apply, in places where, because people always feel the need, they have to become stone walls, they have to put up a grimace that would deflect, it's not necessary.
Not all the time,
it's not all the time. And in general, I feel like, when you do stuff like that, you kind of attract, the hate you give.
True.
You attract it. Someone will see your face like that, and you think that you're, keeping people away. But what you're trying to do is you're attracting someone who's like, see that person.
Make it frown.
May I fuck with that person? Yes, let me fuck with her for a second.
You're the only one that can frown.
Do you get?
Yeah.
So I'll give you a story of my own experience with personality. So when I was in college, right, I had this outgoing personality. I was always with the beautiful women. First of all, I love y'all, women. I feel like you guys are the single greatest thing that any person can hope to have. But that's a story for another day. Anyway, so I'm always with them, just looking like I have something to do with all of them when I don't. I just happen to know them and get along with them. So there was this guy. We met. I used to see him around school, but we never clicked. He was a big, burly guy, from Gabon, no, from Ivory Coast.
Okay.
French speaking, and this was in South Africa.
Okay.
Right, so we would pass each other, but we never really got acquainted. Until one day, we met at a friend's dorm, and we bonded over FIFA, and from there
nice.
we became friends.
Yeah.
And then, like 2 years into our friendship, one day I can't remember what happened exactly, but one day, this guy opened up to me. He said to me, "Rodney, before we became friends, before I met you, every time I see you, I just want to like
Are you
hope
for
you
real?
would mess with me, so that I would put you in your place."
What?
You get? I see you with all these beautiful babes and always doing this cool guy. I was waiting for you to just do something.
Please, Rodney, I'm going to choke. I don't know why this is so funny to me.
And that opportunity never came.
Are you serious?
But then we became friends, and now he's like, I see, like I respect you. He used those words, and people always talk about men not being expressive or men not being this and that. But in that moment, this guy is big, he's muscular, he's gym head. You wouldn't expect that from him.
Yeah.
And he was vulnerable in that moment.
That's very powerful.
You get, and I think that's what being an authentic personality does to people. It just when it gets, from a distance, they can have all kinds of ideas because people will have their perceptions for sure.
Definitely.
But if they should happen to have the privilege to get to know you, and you clear all doubt, that lets you know that your personality is A1. That let me know that okay, whatever I'm doing right now, the way I see myself and the way I see people is, I can keep in this direction. You get that kind of thing.
Sure.
So back to your point where you're like, I don't try to please people. I think the perfect personalities are those that find that balance between meeting their societal expectations while staying true to themselves.
Exactly, Rodney.
If you can find
Spot on.
Yeah, you're not fighting because people tend to fight society. Like, why is society making us do this, do that? I mean, society will be society, but you can decide what you will take and what you will not take.
Exactly.
You can decide where you draw your line, and not compromise yourself. Because if you're always in a battle with society, you're definitely not focusing on yourself that you should be developing, So I want to ask you a question now. Dating. What do you think personality plays in that?
That's an interesting one. Let me see. I'll always keep going back to myself because I'm like the first example.
By all means.
It's weird, because I'm thinking back to my dating days and how, fam, why are you laughing? Those were the days. Why is this Rodney laughing? I'll pour it on your head.
I'm laughing because I remember your live.
Okay.
Where you were talking about back in your uni day.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about, those days. Your time in uni,
Fam.
Because guys, we're not mates. She's Auntie Chika to me.
I'm an elder.
She's an elder. Yes. So when she says back in her dating days, she means back in her dating days.
You're crazy. You are mad. It's not that back, you guys are bad. I'm not 40. Hey, Jesus. Anyway, no, but back when I was dating, I think there was this weird thing that happened to me though when I was dating. I think your personality, for some people, I can't say for everybody, but I do know that there are people who were like me, where you're this person who is like life of the party, you're boisterous and all of that jazz. Then when you're in a relationship space, you're somebody different. Have you had that before? Like, has it happened to you or someone you know?
No, it hasn't happened to me.
Yeah. So it happened to me, and I think that was it's something that I had to work on because I didn't like it. I didn't like that I was more quiet. Like if you're my friend, I'm like myself, I'm loud, I'm talking, I'm like, making but once it's like a guy that I'm now supposed to be in a relationship with, I'm now like calm, and I'm like, what's that? I didn't like it. So it was something I had to make sure I'm like, you know what? No, Chika. So I felt maybe it was just matching energies. I don't know, maybe I didn't know how to translate it at the time.
Maybe
they weren't the right ones.
Maybe he wasn't someone you felt you could be yourself around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So clearly, I had no business even being there in the first place. For me, if I was going to be with you, why wouldn't I be all of me? All my madness, all the craziness has to come out, and we'll enjoy each other, whatever we see. So for a long time, because I was young, I don't know, but that was me. Like when I'm in a relationship, I'm like chill and my personality, all that sweet, boisterous, behavior kind of goes into the background. But now, not so much. Yeah. But I think personality in dating in general, I don't know what to say other than if you find yourself not really being who you think you are in a relationship, then maybe that's not where you're supposed to be. Like, you need to be able to be your full, beautiful self. Like, all of you needs to be able to come into play, and also for your own good, because whoever you're with has to see all sides of you. Okay, so just make sure you're shining. Anybody that's making you feel like you can't be who you really are, it's not the one.
I think, you mentioned that part about not being yourself.
Yeah.
And what stood out to me is that, when people talk about gaslighting,
Yeah.
you've heard about that term,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
I think that gaslighting is as a result of when you're in a situation where you cannot be yourself. So if you cannot be yourself, what do? You try to use underhanded methods to get the other person's attention, because you cannot say how you feel out loud.
Yeah.
So when people try and throw the blame at one gender or the other, I feel like it's a matter of, you guys made your bed in that way. You met someone that you could not be yourself with. So now, when things get tough, you can't, you can't be anything authentic.
Yeah.
So you have to blame the other person, or twist things. I noticed this thing as that's what
Quite
personality
toxic.
does.
Yeah.
When it's not expressed in a relationship, right? What do you think about that?
I think I quite agree with you, honestly. Now that you put it that way, absolutely. Because once you start off not being your whole self, your true self, everything kind of goes left from there. It's never really going to work. Nothing. Nah, Rodney, it's a recipe for disaster. Honestly, I don't think it's something that anybody should do. Just be who you are. But Rodney, can I ask you a question?
Sure thing.
I know it's your podcast and everything, but my mind just went somewhere now. I know that. What do you think about changing? Let me put it this way. What do you think about people whose personalities are not great, in terms of maybe they're bitter or there's some toxicity somewhere? And we're here now saying you should be your whole beautiful self. Not everybody's personality is beautiful.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
what do you say about people who don't have that great personalities?
Ooh,
Yeah.
What do you say to them? I think, first of all, do they know that their personality is not great? I think that's one question to ask.
They know, but in the world we live in, I see a lot of memes and things if you don't like me, I cut you off, that kind of thing. So you're not great. There's something bitchy or toxic about you, but you're like, that's how I am. If you don't like me, what do you think about that?
You can only do that thing for so long. Eventually, by the time you start to see the patterns of how people keep leaving you, or keep abandoning you, or keep calling you out, eventually, so it depends on the person's level of self-awareness and ability to take criticism. If those two are low, it will take you some time. And when it takes you some time, that means that you're going to go through a lot of heartache.
Yes.
Because people keep, resisting you for some reason, and you think it's them. So you have this pain in your heart, and you're now putting it on other people. And that behavior becomes your personality.
Yeah.
So your personality keeps, that vicious cycle keeps expanding. So I think self-awareness and being able to take criticism is the key to that. If you don't have that, and in fact, the sooner you can, take what people tell you as not fact, but consider it.
Yeah.
People always talk about, I don't care what people think about me.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
should care. You
Exactly, that's
care.
what I was talking about. I don't care. I don't care what you say. It's who I am, and if you don't like it,
You should care. I take every criticism and praise. I take it into account. For example, with praise, right? I'm always mindful that people can say stuff they don't mean just to make you feel some type of way. So I'm very mindful of what people say to me, and because I've had situations where people just hate my guts.
Yeah.
But they realize, oh, Ronnie, you're this and that, and I can see it in their eyes. I can feel it that now you don't really fuck with me like that, so I'm not gonna take that. Yeah. Then you get some people who would tell you what they don't like about you or what sucks, and I'll be like, could it be? You know, I'll ask questions. I would like to even get to the bottom of it. In fact, I ask more questions when it comes to criticism, like, how do you mean?
Yeah.
Then if it's something that I feel like they misunderstood, I would like to explain. Because, you know, people like to say, you don't owe anyone any explanation. You don't, but in the interest of being a generous person.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
The world is bigger than you.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many other factors to being able to survive. You need people. You can't say you don't need anybody. You need
Yeah,
people.
you need people to get you.
Yeah, they need to understand you, and you know you need to be in their good books if you're going to get ahead. That's what, you know, the whole networking thing is about. Like, you can't really get ahead on your own.
You can't.
You need a support system, and if you're going to be nasty to everybody because that's how you are, then you're going to be alone, and nobody wants that. Okay, so I'm saying that because even though I was this life of the party person, so sweet, I had that side of me that was not great. Like, I could be really nasty. If you piss me off, you're on your own. Whatever you see, you take.
Yeah.
You just take it.
Like
okay?
that.
Yeah. So I was that person at, you know, when I was much younger, and I knew a bunch of people that I come across would say, Chika, this is a bit small. I'm like, hey, don't talk to me about it. Don't do that. If you don't like it, keep it moving. Nobody's forcing you to stay here.
Yeah.
Like, you get out. Like, you know, I was that person. But I think the older I got, the more I started to understand that, come, girl. It's not that. I mean, come on. You can be better. You can do better. There's always room for growth. There's always room to improve on your personal, you know, relations. Just there's always room, guys. We can always do better. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, for me, you know, it's like you're looking at people and you're trying to like understand where you fit in their lives, because you know when you don't want to hear what people have to say about you, it's because low key you're scared that this is the truth of
will
it.
Smack you in the face.
Yeah.
Basically.
And then second of all, you don't want to change, or you're afraid to change. Those two things.
Yes. I know people are really scared of change because you're like, oh my God, what is on the other side? This is what I'm comfortable with, you know? This is who I've always been. Like, what do I know I want to change, you know? And if you're going to survive, you need to. It's the same thing with like a marriage. They'll tell you, like some of the best books on marriage will tell you that they use the term die to yourself. Yeah.
Okay, I've never heard that before.
Yes.
Please educate me.
You die to yourself means that all the things that you think you knew, you kind of like let them die. You literally have to become a whole new person. Do you understand? Just so that what you want can be achieved. Because now you're living with a completely different person who was raised by another person. Like this, even with your own siblings, you have issues.
Yeah.
Your parents raised both of you, but you still have your differences.
Yeah.
Let alone somebody who is coming from a whole
Other
new
place.
farm. It's a problem, you know. So how do you want to cohabit with this person without issues? There will be issues.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to die to yourself, which means just that pride, that excess pride, that's I know everything, my way or the highway, all of that needs to just, people have to come to somewhere, a level, you know, come to the middle. There has to be some compromise, understand each other, and be willing to unlearn and relearn, you know, how to deal with this person now. Because it's one thing to date from a distance, it's another thing to actually live under the same roof with somebody. So there's a lot of dying to self that has to happen. And I see that happening with some people that I know. I see them having like these issues where they're still who they were before they got married. So it's now a problem because they see things with the same eyes that they saw it with before they got married. And that cannot work.
Never.
That cannot work. You have to, except you're not willing for it to work out. There's
self-sabotage.
Exactly. Except you're not willing. You're like, you know, you can't keep, if you want it to work out, then sit down and tell yourself the truth. Something is not working. What can I do to change that? Okay? So it's all about working on yourself, understanding. There's so many. I'll give you an instance. Something as simple as knowing when to talk to someone. Okay? People will clash. Myself and my husband, at the beginning, it was a question. I didn't understand how he needed to be confronted about situations. So if something happens, I'm like, immediately it happens. I'm like, guy, how far now? Why did this happen the way it did? And he already feels attacked.
Yeah.
And there's no way anybody will feel attacked without trying to defend themselves.
Yeah.
You're coming at me with a gun. Fam, I'm bringing my knife. Let's do this. Do you get? So I now, over time, I now understood that no, for this one, let it slide.
Yeah.
And letting it slide doesn't mean forgetting about it or sweeping it under the carpet. No. In the moment, let it slide. Come back sometime. And we hear that all the time. I hear it a lot from like older people, aunties, my mom. Just wait. You're like, why should I wait? The young fighter in you wants to was in the Boski situation. Let's get to the root of it now. Guy, I don't have time. But no.
Yeah.
You hear it from the older ones. They'll tell you because it works. Give it time. And come back later. And don't even come back and say, I want to talk to you about something. That's already a subtle attack this time. You're not coming with a knife, but you're coming with a pillow. Like there's still an attack. Do you understand? There's still a fight.
Yeah.
Just, throw it into a conversation that has nothing to do with what it was. Find your loopholes. Know your timing. It's all about timing. When he does something, you're like, that's how the other day you now did. I better go and sit down. You're like, me when? You did it. And it's now banter. Sorry now. It's not that was now. That's small thing I did. Sorry now.
Yeah.
But once you come and say, babe, can we now talk? You're sitting there. It's still a fight. So understand who you're working with. Know, what your timing. Know who you're. There are ways around it. So I feel there's always room for, so long as you want your life to succeed. You want to succeed in life, Abi. You can work on yourself to be better. Your personality can be great. You want your friendships to work. You put in the work. It can work. You know what to do about it. You want your marriages to work. It's the same thing. So there's always room for improvements. That's what I think.
When I was younger, when I just got out of high school,
yeah,
so when I graduated from high school, I had a personality problem actually.
Okay.
And I was somebody that people did not like. So I know what it's like for that to be the case.
Yeah.
So when I got out of high school, my mom talked to me, my dad talked to me. They're like, you're entering the world now. If you're carrying on like this, they'll rubbish you. And me myself, I've always been a confident, self-assured guy. But in my head, I was like, the way I feel about myself does not match the outside world. Like there's a
disconnect.
Yes,
somewhere.
and I didn't like it. So I had to go back to drawing board, and so I started reading up. And the way I developed my personality was I would look at all of these characters that I read up on, and I would take bits and pieces that I liked from them, and then I would just add it to myself. Oh, I like how this person does this. Take it. I like how this person says this. Take it. And over time, it kind of like evolved into something more, personal, more authentic to me. Because obviously I would do things in my own way, but I always still had that that mold of how I want it to be. But now I want to take it to still in dating, right? I'm really concerned about the role that personality plays in the seductive process. I feel like that's the X factor. And when I speak to women a lot, they may not know how best to explain it.
Yeah.
But that's what they want. More than the reliable guy, more than the dependable guy, more than the guy with, so I'll put it like this, right? When you go to a party, right, and you're shit-faced, there's someone that you can depend on to take care of you and take you home.
Yeah.
But that person is not exactly an interesting person, but you can depend on them. At the same time, there's the person who they give you this spark when you're with them. You like something, you don't even know what it is, but there's something about the way they do themselves that you like. But then they may not exactly be someone you can depend on when you're low. So I think the challenge for people when it comes to dating is finding the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can fall for personality, and then the character will let you down. Yeah. And then you see a lot of women. In fact, I know a friend of mine who got married, and she'd always say that he's an amazing guy, he's this and that, he's great, but there's no spark. So basically, she picked the dependability at the expense of the personality. So I think like knowing this now is like you gotta find a way to get both in your partner for it to like really have that long term, where the fire is there and you guys are getting along and you can depend on this person. Because if you have neither or, I don't know what the English is, but at some point it will show.
Yeah.
You know, you get tired. He's dependable, but before you know it, 2 years in, you stop having sex, or you stop doing stuff together.
That's a problem.
You know, or you love his personality, but maybe he doesn't show up when it's time to give birth to your child. He's not there or something, you know. So I think these are things I think about when it comes to personality and relationships, and you know, not getting, you know, not settling for one or the other. You know.
I get that, but it's a difficult one, Rodney, because I don't know if everybody gets that. I don't know if it's something that everybody ends up with.
That is true.
I think something always has to give. Not always. Some people do have it, but for the most part, I think most people have to.
But you see, the thing is, people,
they have to make do without something. I think so.
You make do without something because maybe you've decided that the pressure is on you to make do. You know, but if you see yourself as you have time, if you see yourself as maybe you know what you want or what you need, then
yeah. No, that's not to say that people who decide to go into something where it's not, they don't feel it's, or you don't feel it's complete, that doesn't mean they don't like who they are with, or that
they like the person.
Yeah, but you know, it's a question of priority. What really at that point in your life, what is the most important thing? What is the most important thing you're looking for in someone? If the person has that most important thing you need at that time in your life, that's how most people base their decisions.
Yeah.
They go ahead with it. Okay, now in my life, guy, I have suffered somebody can say, I have suffered in the hands of people with great personalities, but are douchebags. Okay? At the end of the day. Now, see, I need a dependable guy that I can depend on. And if he says it's B, it is B. He's not lying. If he says it's coming at 2, he's there at 2. And if you find that person, his personality might not be A1. He might, be slacking in some other area, but that's what you need at this time. That dependability is now what attracts you to him. And that's where you now end up. Do you understand? So people, base those decisions just on what do I need right now? Like right now, based on my life experiences leading up to this very point, this is what I want. And I'll take it how I get it. Do you understand? Yeah, that's not to say that some people don't get everything that they want. Some people do. But you know how it is where it's like a pie chart where everything is there, but not in equal quantities.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you understand? So even with, so you just make do. What matters to you at that point?
I think that's what happens in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Where they have a lot of like divorce.
Yeah.
Personality blinds them.
Yeah.
And then it falls apart.
Exactly.
And then with us, or with normal people, dependability blinds us, and then you find out marriages are unhappy. Like the guy is taking care of the kids.
Yeah, he's doing everything.
He's showing up every way he's supposed to show up.
There's no spark, man.
But you and him are just not.
You're not vibing like that.
You'd
rather be somewhere else.
So I think either way, like there's still some sadness that happens in between all of that. So like you said, if you make a decision based on what you need in your life at that point, naturally you're gonna get.
It might change.
You get what you're looking for.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It might change? It
does change for some people. That's why you still see people getting divorced. Because at that point, you might want a dependable guy. But you're a human being. Your needs change from time to time. Yeah. Okay? So as you're staying with this dependable guy and you start to crave an interesting guy, and he's not interesting, then you start to question your decisions and you end things. So it's just,
That's why Jada Smith did that thing that she did. That entanglement.
Yes.
That's classic what it was.
Yes.
Will Smith was just not.
She just needed something at that time. She's like, I'll be back. How far, August? So what happened. And she's like, okay, August. I'm done with your ass. Hi, Will. So it's that case of you want different things at different times, and because of us.
Enough, when you and I had this conversation, we argued about this thing.
I can imagine, so it's you now have to make that. I don't want to call it like the mature decision. You just have to make that decision, especially if you're now in a marriage, to see it through. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Your needs will change, but what's the right thing to do? Do you understand? That's no excuse for bad behavior, especially if you don't want to end the marriage or something. That's not an excuse for you start to cheat and have these entanglements and things like that.
Yeah.
You have the choice of walking out of the marriage. Nobody tied you there.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, then end one and begin another. If you want to go on an adventure, but if you're deciding it's something long term, you have to find a way to live with what you decided. Basically.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Allow me a moment to appreciate our sponsor, 8689 Food. They produce amazing artisanal granola, homemade and beautifully packaged. They come in 4 yummy flavors: Reasonable, Coconuts About You, Choconola, and Nutty by Nature, all of which I've sampled and I highly recommend. They are sugar-free and go great with yogurt, cereal, or on their own. Do support them by visiting their IG page at 8689 Food. That's the word 80 followed by the number 6 and the word 80 followed by the number 9. One word. Tell them Rodney sent you for a discount. A huge indicator of a person's personality is how they deal with anxiety and sadness.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's more telling than ever now these days how you see that a lot of people are dealing with things that are deeply complicated. And that says a lot about how what you're made of.
Yep.
Whether you like it or not. And I think I think that's really what it is. Like, now that you've acknowledged that you have mental health issues, maybe that is also like a symptom of a personality issue as well.
Yeah.
Maybe you see, like, it all goes back to like working on yourself and figuring out how best to be yourself. And it goes back to that thing we said earlier about pleasing people.
Yeah.
When you please people, anxiety and sadness and depression comes out of that. If it's in your personality to like please and to diminish yourself or deprive yourself of what you need, naturally you're going to go into a situation where you're going to feel those negative emotions.
You will.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How's your mental health, if I may ask?
Wow. I think my mental health is great.
Chop.
Fam. You see, ba? I think that's one thing. I don't know if it's
We
me.
fist bumped, by the way.
Yes. I don't know if it's my doing or I can't really say.
Take some credit.
Fam. I don't.
You know what it is? I think mental health is a result of your actions. If you do the right things at the right time for yourself and even for others, your mental health will respond accordingly. Because you'll be okay.
Fine.
It's when you're doing things that you're not supposed to be doing.
Yes.
For people you're not supposed to be doing it for.
The frustration starts coming and all of that. Fam, I'm in a very good place. And I've been in this very good place for a very long time. I can't, I think the only time that I was like really sad was when my father was sick. Which is like... Anybody will be sad if you think you're about to lose a loved one. But he came out of it and we're like, oh yeah, life is good again. No, but I think my mental health is great. And I don't know what to attribute that to. Like I said, like you said, I should take some credit. Okay, I will take some credit. Yes. But I think I'm trying to see what I do that helps. I don't think I take too much to heart. Like, something can happen that bothers me, but literally the next day I'm fine. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm actually fine. Do you understand? Like, I find ways to just
not take things personally.
I think another thing for me is that the most trivial things excite me. So it's like finding joy in the little things.
Yeah.
You hear it and read it in books, but that's me. I can walk in here now and I just see just the ambience. I'm like, oh, my day is made. Like, I'm so happy. And I keep thinking about, oh God, that place we went to, man. It was so... I went somewhere yesterday and I couldn't stop talking about it. It's the little things.
Yeah.
If you keep waiting for one monumental thing to come and change your life, you're going to wait for a while.
I swear.
You're going to wait for a while.
Yo.
You have to start to find the joy in the little things. I'm that person, like my sister. You see sunsets, right? You're just passing and the sky looks funny and I'm like, where's my phone? Oh my God. I'll take a picture and I'll keep staring at the picture and I'm happy. My day is made. I hear one song, I turn on my Burna Boy and Salty Soul. I'm like, hey, like, I'm happy.
Yeah.
The little things is the littlest things. So no matter what it is I might be going through, because that's not to say that life still doesn't throw like huge curveballs my way. No, it does almost on a daily basis, but you shake it off because that just as the curveballs are coming, just as you're looking left, something has made you happy, because little things, like, I'm easy to please when it comes to like things that make me happy. Very little things.
It's impossible to
Yeah.
be upset
Yeah.
when you're in the presence of a sunset.
Exactly.
Quote me. Quote
Fam, yo, that thing is the most beautiful thing.
me. Yeah.
That's the thing. So little things make me happy, and I think that plays a huge role.
Yeah.
And again, let's go back to this people pleasing thing that you said. I have seen people who have lived their lives wanting to, in the interest of peace, like they say. They don't want to ruffle any feathers. They don't want to upset people. They don't want anybody to think bad about them. So they end up, making themselves uncomfortable to please people.
Yeah.
And eventually, it's the most depressing thing. They're filled with resentment for these same people.
Yeah.
And you can't live like that,
You
Rodney.
cannot.
You can't. I was that person who, when I was in like uni, my secondary school and my uni days, I would always want to, oh my God, what would they say? Let me just, even if I don't want to be somewhere, as long as somebody has asked me, I'm like, hey, I don't want them to feel bad. Okay, let me just go so they will not feel bad. What? Fam, you'll be fine, oh.
You be fine.
You'll be fine, oh. You will be fine. It's not dependent on me. I'm not your MC. Do you understand? Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to be there. Like, all those small things. Like, learn to say no to the things that are going to stress you out. I think that's one thing that one personality trait everybody needs to learn.
Yeah.
0 to people pleasing.
Yeah.
And it's a fine line. Like, a lot of these life lessons come with very, like, they sound, if you take it out of that context and put it somewhere else, it now starts to contradict what is going on there. Do you understand? My brother always said that about the Bible, that the Bible is just filled with so many contradictory, notions. So one hand it says, don't do this. In another chapter of another, book, it says, do the same thing. You're like, excuse you, but I just read, but that's another story. For another
Context
day.
is key, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now that we're saying no to people pleasing, somebody will come from the camp of, I don't need to change. But you just said I should not please people. Pleasing, if I change, I'm trying to please people, so I have to stay the way I am. No.
Yeah.
Know the difference. When I say people pleasing, I'm saying
That is such a key point you're making right now.
Fam, because people will now say, so that means I don't have to change now, because people you want me to change so that other people will be happy. But I like the way I am. You don't like it. You actually don't. So tell yourself the truth.
I think for me, basically, is you just have this in your mind that you want people to be comfortable around you.
Yes.
One. But, what you forget is that people are comfortable around you once you let them know who you are.
Exactly.
Is when they don't know who you are, when you constantly, that's when they will not be comfortable.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's also like with the mind as well. Sometimes the mind is, if you don't have a trained mind, right? If you haven't mastered your mind, your mind will tell you that thing you said about people are not going to like me if I do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to,
Yeah.
You need to tell your mind, let's see what will happen.
Exactly.
Let's try, and if you're right, we'll listen to you. You get that kind of thing.
True.
So that is super. Wow, that's a great point you made, because I know people that will be out there now and be like, yes, we don't change for anybody. We are perfect.
Well, yes.
And if you are perfect, why is your life? In fact, the way I always say to people about your beliefs, about your behaviors, whatever it is, the best way to judge it is, are you living the life that you want? If you're living the life that you want, then you have no reason to change.
Yeah.
But insofar as there's places to get to, there's things that are not right, and there's maybe all kinds of maybe traumas or conflicts in your life, then for sure you have some, elevating to do.
Exactly. And another thing is, try to see it from the point of view that you're doing it for you. I think people hate the idea of doing something for somebody. I mean, I hate it too. Like, I'm doing it because you told me. Don't tell me. I don't want to. So so that kind of, I'm not going to do it because you have said I should do it. I will not do it.
Yeah.
But do it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody. Who is going to benefit the most if you change and become a better person? You're the one.
You're the one.
You're going to benefit the most. All we get is like your good energy and like, oh, she's now such a wonderful person. And that's it. But all that goodness that God has and the universe or whatever is coming to you.
Yeah.
So if everything you're doing, you're working on you for you.
For you.
That's what it is, really. So do it for yourself. It's not about anybody or how we're going to see you. Swallow your pride and do it for yourself. Do you understand? You're the one going to benefit.
You know what I think is the greatest achievement anyone can have? Let me not be too hyperbolic and say the greatest, but something that the feeling is undefeated.
Yeah.
Is when people see you the way you see yourself.
Oh yes.
Yo.
Yes.
Like it's one thing to think what
That's
you
if
think.
you see yourself as a god or a magical person.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Because if you see yourself as a demon and you say, she's a demon.
If you see someone as a demon and someone calls you a demon, it's still.
What if you don't like that? See you as a demon though.
But do you like it? Okay, yeah, that's a good point though. Okay, so yeah, in the positive sense,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
if you see yourself a certain way,
Yeah.
and other people see that too, it bangs, man.
It's a very good feeling.
Yeah.
It is a very
It
good
goes back to that story I told you with that guy.
Yeah.
You know, and he just, you know, that was like,
Yeah.
wow. And then, you know, now you want that feeling to scale sometimes, but then you don't want to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like go outside yourself because then it becomes forced. You want to just keep doing,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
You want to just maintain that balance, but
Yes.
still scale.
Exactly.
This personality thing is
It's very intricate,
tricky.
man.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many layers to it.
Yeah.
So many layers, you know.
How do you mold the personality of your kids, though?
My kids.
Yeah.
Okay. They're already like innate personalities that you see that they have. Okay, so you now try to channel, you know, make sure they're all coming from a positive place at every time. That's important for me. I think that's like the basic thing for me. For instance, I know my daughter is very, very competitive. Oh my goodness, like just to walk, you say let's go out, she will want to beat you to the door. Something as basic as just we're going out. We're not like she's that person.
Yeah.
So, you know, I noticed that when maybe her brother beats her to it, she gets really angry and she's like fuming. I'm like, this one. It's good to have a competitive spirit. That's how winners are made. That's how winners are born. But you also need to learn that you can't win every time. That's life. If you throw those curveballs, babe, you can't
You
win
should learn
every
that
time.
early.
Yo,
Yeah.
I tell her, you can't. You can't win every time. She had her inter-house sports last year, and she had been practicing for this race. She was so good. In fact, everybody, all the teachers were telling me prior to the day that, man, your daughter, wow. I'm like, yes, we got this gold medal in the bag. Then on that day, it starts to rain, and she can't stand being outside in the rain. All that cold, the wetness, she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So it already messed up her mood. She's like, Mommy, can we go home? I'm like, oh, we have a race, so they said we should wait for the race. She's like, no, I'm not doing it. I have to go. I don't want to. She refused. All the teachers came begging and begging. Like, she went there with so much anger in her spirit. She didn't want to do it because she didn't want to be anywhere close to any wet grass or whatever. So they made her do the race, and she now came second. And she'd been coming first the entire time throughout the rehearsals, but she came second on the main day.
Yeah.
And then she got her silver medal. At the time, it didn't make any sense. It didn't mean anything much to her. But when her younger brother went for his own race and got a gold medal, it became a problem. She said, oh, I want my gold medal. She now got so angry, you know. I'm like, no, Mama, that's not how it works, okay? You did amazing. And I started to put things in perspective for her. All right, remember, you've been winning throughout the games, fine, which is amazing. I think you're a superhero for winning all those races. But today, it rained. I know how you don't really like the rain, okay? So life is like that. Sometimes you're determined to win, but some things can happen to shift your focus, and you still did great. You still came second, Mama. That's the silver medal. You didn't even come. There were 6 people on that race. And you know the most interesting part? You ran with older kids. She was the youngest. She was in the baby class, and all the others were like the big class, like primary 1 and primary 2.
Yeah.
And you ran from the nursery class with primary 1 and primary 2 kids. That's amazing, Mama. And you came second. Like, you know how many people you beat?
Sure.
She was still focusing on that guy that passed her. That real guy. His legs was now running so fast. I said, no. Let's focus on the ones that we passed. All right, Mama? You have to understand you will not always win. That's life. Sometimes you do great, sometimes you don't. And you should be happy for the next person. That's important, because I see a lot of people who, when they lose, they're not happy for whoever wins. That's the whole spirit of sportsmanship thing. Just be happy for the person. That's how your own wins will still come eventually.
Yeah.
So when her brother is doing something and he does it better, she gets angry, like, no, what did I tell you? She's like, okay, you did amazing. You know, she's like, do you understand? So now she's learning.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even have to say anything. I'll just look back and she's like, okay, Kayla, you did so well. I'm proud of you. I'm like, yes. See? So that's life. You just be happy for the person. Then when she wins, I'm like, you see, go girl, you won. Yes, we'll scream hard for you, but you won't always win. And that's perfectly fine. It doesn't make you a loser. It doesn't mean you're not good at what you've done. It's just life. It makes you human.
You know what you should have told her as well also?
Yeah.
You told her, but at the same time, if you want to make sure you don't feel this losing feeling again, it means that you should make sure you can run anywhere, whether it's raining or sunny.
Exactly.
Sure, you want to win by all means.
Fine.
Make sure you can.
She needs to now snap out of that. I can't run in the rain. That's the next step. Thank you, Rodney.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Yes,
so
sir.
I'm like, nah. Life will throw you curveballs, but what do you do with it? You have to keep going. You just have to keep going.
I have a similar story with my own sister, but she's much older. She turned 15 this year.
Yeah.
And late last year, she had her own inter-house sports. She's also really fast. And, we came and they're telling her the same thing. Your sister, your daughter, she's an amazing runner. She's running. She's in SS1 running with SS3, SS2 people. That kind of thing. So she was doing the relay and she was the last leg. That kind of thing.
The most important.
The most important one.
Jesus.
And we're all there to see this. My camera was out and giving her a nice young God pep talk. She was in the spirit. The race started. Her team was doing well. And then when it got to like the third leg, so from second to third leg, the person dropped the baton. I watched my sister. Her spirit just dropped. Bah! I felt her pain because she wanted to show out.
Oh my goodness!
And then the thing eventually got to her. She did it. She ran. She finished the race. But when she came to us, we were trying to tell her sorry. Like, no, it's fine. It happened. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's cool. What?
Aww.
Yeah. I was really, I was impressed. This is my like. Yeah, she understands. She's like,
Girl.
When we go back home,
that.
I asked her again, how do you feel, I said, I lost. It wasn't my fault I lost, I knew if I was the one that running, I was going to do it, but it's fine next time. And I was really
I'm almost crying.
Impressed.
That's amazing.
And obviously she's not as competitive as your daughter. She doesn't have that, but she did it, and just the way she handled it, because she really wanted to like put on the show, and everybody has been hailing her and like
she did amazing. You must all be so proud.
Yeah, so that's really cool.
Great. Yeah.
So that that's how you see like her personality. Like what she'll be able to deal with some things, and you're not so worried about her. You get, especially because she's 15. Yours is 6, so she has ways to learn everything.
Of course, that's why I'm starting early to be like, babe, that's not how life works. You have to just pipe down on that. So I think, and she's very, she's more forward than my son. My son is like more laid back, more chill. He's comfortable with his people. So if he's at home, he's loud and noisy and boisterous. But once he's out of the house, he's like, I don't know you guys like that, okay? Yeah. Stay away from me. You get to people think, oh, he's so quiet. Not really. He's just not comfortable around you guys. But my daughter is the same way everywhere. She's like, she's the more friendly one, So.
What do you think? Sorry, okay, go on.
No, but I see that sometimes my husband like tries to make him, be more outspoken. I'm like, no, not that all the time. Not that he makes him. He just worries. He's like, but when Adessa was this age, he was like, no, don't do that. This is not Adessa. This is somebody else, a whole other human being on his own. So it's like me and my siblings now. Not all of us have the same personalities. When we were growing up, I was like my daughter. I was very all over the place, like, life, let's go, and then friendly, noisy girl. But my big sister was like, I don't know you guys like that, sorry, And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's who she is. That's her personality.
That thing you mentioned with your son?
Yeah.
There's something else that's happened similar in my family as well. So my aunt, my mother's last born, she's like you said to me, she's like maybe 30.
Yeah. I'm
29. So, but she's married. She has 3 kids.
Yeah.
So I went to go visit her one day, and I don't know what it's about today, man. The girls are the ones who are being a bit more outgoing, and active. And her son, her second son, has the second born. He's very, chilled, very quiet, but he has these like piercing eyes, like he's noticing, like he's paying attention, And I was talking to her. She was telling me about him, and she's like, he's too quiet. I want him to be strong. She told me that I beat him sometimes so that he'll be strong. I'm like, what? And like gave her the cocoa. I said, yo, I've noticed that he is the way he is. This guy is stronger than anybody in this house, let me tell you. You get what I'm saying? I let her know that this is a composed dude, man. Like, and he's paying attention. This guy, he's not dumb, he's not daft. He can play like everyone else, but when I come into the room, he's looking.
Yeah.
And the eyes are not looking like he's weird, like he's someone that's
everything
paying
in.
attention.
Yeah.
I said, this is the one. All you gotta do is teach him to be independent.
Yes.
And he would, finish work. And she's like, okay. But so you can see how parents sometimes they don't understand how personalities work, and they try to do the most.
Exactly.
So that's really cool to think about. I think parents should really like just let their kids be. You know, like a flower, just let it grow like that and see what kind of petals come out.
Exactly. Mold them where you can, but not like don't hamper them. Don't change too much.
Yes. What do you think of the cult of personality?
Don't ask me. Ask my sister.
Do you know what the cult of personality is?
She has explained it to me so many times, and I don't care about it.
Okay, let me explain to you in the way that I understand it.
Okay.
So the cult of personality is basically. Oh, and this has nothing to do with your sister. This is just on topic. Yeah. So basically, it's how in society we tend to put on a pedestal people that have personalities. I think now this is the downside of because people can get enamored, like I said, by personalities, and you now take everything that this personality says as, A and M. Like BBN, personalities in the house, and now we've propped them up as, everybody has attached their sense of self and success to these people, and their success becomes your success. So that's like the downside of personalities, that some can be so strong or so publicized, like radio personalities, TV personalities, celebrities, whatever, so publicized that you lose even sense of your own personality by trying to get in there. So I think you know what that's like as a radio personality.
Yeah.
How?
Although, like I told you, I don't think I ever got to that point because I don't know. I just deliberately ran away from all that drama because I liked to be private at the time. I didn't want to have that kind of life where people just where you go, you can't do anything without somebody recognizing who you are. But I think for the most part, I think who benefits the most from that. First of all, I think it's too much of a burden to put on anyone, to put them on that whole pedestal where your life revolves around their choices and their decisions and all of that. It's too much work. But I think who benefits from that is like brands. The brands, they leverage on that to promote things. Okay, so that's why you see them signing somebody as an ambassador, because they know that if I ever saw a Cristiano Ronaldo doing something, I'm like, oh, okay.
You're a fan?
Yes, I love CEO.
Chop knuckle again.
That's my G.
Yes. Yeah. I love everything he stands for.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That guy is.
Yes.
We'll get there.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Like.
Whatever his competitive spirit is what your sister should develop into.
That's what I'm saying.
Your daughter.
Exactly. That's our role model. That's who we're trying to be like. He's very competitive and he's very driven, and he's still how I've changed topic. Please let's come back to what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is like, I see how we now love Cristiano, right?
Yeah.
So it's that thing where brands look at people like that and just strategize and put them in positions of power. Like, okay, let me use this guy to sell what I want to sell.
Yeah.
So I think the people that would always want that to continue is like brands.
Yeah.
But for the normal human, I think it's too much. I don't think there's anybody, even Cristiano that I love, I don't think there's anybody that I put on that. Yeah, that kind of pedestal I don't expect too much.
Yeah, just do your thing.
Just do your thing. I admire your good traits and everything you stand for, but I'm not going to live my life obsessing over everything that you do.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the way of the world, man, Rodney. It's not going to end. Do you understand? People would always have people that they look up to, that in that sense, and just worship, idolize, or whatever. It's always going to be.
It won't end. Yeah. But I think I brought it up just so that we can be aware, so the listeners can be aware, because this is the thing, you won't even know when you get sucked into it.
Exactly.
You just think that, you think it's a healthy admiration for a person.
Fine. Yeah.
But you don't know that you've actually man, I'm seeing it, and I'm just an observer, observing how people like Erica, Erica, I think that was the personality sells, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how good she is as an actress. I don't know how good she is as anything else in her life. But just because there's something about the way she smiles the way maybe Laycon propped her up as the victim in that thing that people just
everybody kind of like rallied around
her, and now she can do no wrong.
Yeah.
But what I like to say is that, with all this, with big people like Big Brother housemates, right? Like time eventually tells.
Exactly.
Everything is happening right now. You've been in this house for 30, 60 days, and now you have this responsibility or pressure or this thing. In time, those who sabi the work, the wheat and the chaff will be separated.
Exactly, which is what happens every season. Anyway. Yeah. So time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
My last question for you before you go.
Okay, let's hear it.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I mean, I'm 50. I've grown up.
50, guys. She's not 50. I think she's like at least 33. At the most 33. She's an auntie, but she's not auntie like that.
After calling me auntie, now you want to tell them my Okay, what do I want to be? Like I told you somewhere at the beginning of this, at my core is just making people happy. Okay, so I want to be just a force of nature, man. Like I want to be...
Think of your best self.
My best self is that person who just puts out good in the world. I just love to put out good.
You're a god then.
In the world.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
simple.
Just me.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I think from there, all your actions and words should come from there.
Yeah, definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Chika Chukwu.
Hey.
Mommy moves
and magic.
Tell them she has cast a spell on this episode.
I swear. Well, but Rodney, thank you for having me. I had such a great time having this conversation. Let's do this again.
So there you have it, people. Chika Chukwu at MommyMoves&Magic on IG, right?
Yes, on IG.
Just IG.
Yeah.
At MommyMoves&Magic. Do check her out. She's amazing. And this is the Young God. If you made it to the end of this episode, you're a real one. Thanks again for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, there's a whole lot more where that came from. Just scroll down, you'll see all the range of topics, guests, stories, whatever. I've put in some work for you guys, so there's something for everyone. I release episodes every Saturday at midnight, and depending on my mood, I might release 2 or 3. I can be generous like that. So don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you feel so inspired. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and follow the podcast on Instagram at The Young God Pod and Twitter at I Am The Young God for exclusive content. And just, we're in this, man. Thanks again. Rodney Amakache, out.